Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala rasulihil kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man istanna bi sunnatihi ila yawmiddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers. Inshallah ta'ala, today we are doing the hadith number 28 on our series of 40 hadiths of Imam Nawawi. This hadith, inshallah ta'ala, another hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that has blessed with a lot of wisdoms inside and some good advice as the hadith we done before. So as we do all the time, we'll have a quick look of the hadith we have done and so far. So alhamdulillah, we have done 27 hadiths. So now the list is growing bigger and bigger, but we'll go through them quickly so that it refreshes our mind at what we have done before. So the first 10 hadiths is about the intention, the hadith of Jibril, the 5 pillars of the Islam, the of the what happens, that Allah sends angels to the of the mother and written down the destiny. The innovation is rejected, the bidah that from the hadith from Aisha radhiyallahu anha, the halal haram and the doubts, we should avoid the doubtful matters, and the best thing and the best part is heart of your body. If it is good, everything is good. If it is corrupt, everything is corrupt. And then we have the religion is nasiyah, so deen is sincerity. And then Rasulullah has been ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that to fight until the, someone say the La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and we discuss this hadith in what context Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this through Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then Rasulullah commanded us to avoid all kind of haram and follow the commandment that he did as much as possible to the best of our ability. Then the 10th hadith is, Rasulullah said, Allah himself is pure and he only accepts pure. So when we make dua, we should make sure that our rizq is pure, our clothing is pure, our intention is pure. Then inshallah ta'ala, Allah will answer our dua. The next 10 hadith, Rasulullah said again, leave the doubtful matters. That hadith is from his grandson Hassan ibn Ali ibn Talib. Then Rasulullah said, leave alone what is not your concern. So the perfection of Islam is something that you leave alone that is not concern you. Then the love for your brothers, what you love for yourself. A Muslim blood is only allowed for in 3 cases. The punishment of an married adulterer. The punishment if someone left the Islam and is for qisas, like if someone kills someone and if the jury decided the qisas has been done. Then Rasulullah said, if you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and if you believe in the last day, then you speak good. Honor your guests and honor your neighbors. And then Rasulullah said, one Sahaba came and asked him, Ya Rasulullah, give me some small but important advice. And Rasulullah said, do not be angry. He asked again, Rasulullah said, do not be angry. He asked again, Rasulullah said, do not be angry. Then Rasulullah said, verily Allah has enjoined ihsan. Ihsan means to do something in a perfect way. So we should also try to do ihsan in all our things, in our ibadah, in our worldly life. Whatever you're doing in the halal way, we should bring ihsan in that. Then Rasulullah said to Muaz ibn Jabal, O Muaz, fear Allah wherever you are. Inshallah, if you fear Allah, then and then your bad deeds will be wiped away by good deeds. And then you can have, Allah will protect you from all sides. And the next hadith, the 19, is also similar, where Rasulullah said, be mindful of Allah and you will find him in front of you, in back of you, protecting you and guide you through the path. Then in hadith number 20, Rasulullah said, and this word comes from the prophets of other nations also. What is that? This word? The word is, if you do not have shame, then you can do whatever you wish to do. Meaning, haya is one of the important things in our deen. Next few hadiths. Believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and have istiqamah, meaning be steadfast on that matter. The next hadith, the question from a Bedouin who asked, Ya Rasulullah, I will pray 5 times prayer. I will fast during the Ramadan. I will consider halal as halal. Whatever you said, I will consider haram as haram. Is that enough for me to go to the Jannah? And Rasulullah said, yes, that is enough for go to the Jannah. And we discussed why the Zakah is not mentioned, because that person probably didn't have the means to do the Zakah and Hajj, or maybe it was hadith before the Hajj being obligated. Then the question about the hadith number 23, where Rasulullah said purification in at-toharu satarul iman, the purification is half of iman. And the next hadith, the hadith Qudsi, Rasulullah said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you ask help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are thirsty, ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are hungry, ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you need clothes, you ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that hadith Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you ask the servants, Allah will provide them. And the same hadith Allah said that if whole world gathered together to harm you, but if Allah doesn't written it for you, nobody can harm you. If Allah wants to harm you in some way or some form, then nobody can protect you, even the whole world gathered together. Then every tasbih is a sadaqah, is a takbir, is a tahleel, everything is sadaqah. As asked by some poor Sahaba, they said, the rich Sahaba, they are doing a lot of sadaqah, a lot of charity, how can we compete with them? And Rasulullah said, don't you know that every Allahu Akbar, every La ilaha illallah, every Subhanallah, every Alhamdulillah is a sadaqah. And then in the next hadith also Rasulullah said that every smile is sadaqah, every good deed you ask to do something is a sadaqah, and every joint of the bone of our body needs a sadaqah. And we mentioned in another hadith, say, if you pray the 2 rakah salatul duha, that will suffice for that sadaqah. And the last hadith we did, the way Rasulullah said, righteousness, al-bir is the al-husnul khuluq, meaning the bir is the goodness of the character. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll go to the hadith number 28. This hadith is narrated by a Sahaba. His name is Abu Najiyah al-Irbad bin Sariya. We don't know much about this Sahaba. I'll talk whatever we know from the text of the book. The hadith says that Rasulullah SAW said, deliver a admonition of the maid for hearts fearful and eyes tearful. So, meaning the Sahaba, they thought this is kind of a advice, like a parting advice. So we understand from the text that this hadith towards the end of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu, okay, when the Muslims are big in number, the Jama, the people in the Jama in his masjid is growing and growing, because as you know, the people are getting coming into Islam, and it was so attractive and so wisdom, full of wisdom, that the Sahaba felt that it is as if like he's giving a parting advice, and that's why their heart became fearful of the advice, and also because they fear that the Rasulullah is leaving them. Also their eyes became tearful. This hadith was like this, and Rasulullah we said, Ya Messenger of Allah, it is as if this were a farewell sermon, so advise us. Then Rasulullah said, I enjoin you to have taqwa of Allah. So Rasulullah saying, have taqwa of Allah and listen and obey. Listen and obey to whom? Even if a slave is made a ruler over you. And in another version of the same hadith, Rasulullah mentioned, and that hadith actually is a sermon of the last Hajj that Rasulullah did. So the sermon of the last Hajj over there, Rasulullah said, even if a Habashi slave, like the Abyssinian slave, is made ruler over you, you should listen and obey him. Then he said, among you who lives long life. So Rasulullah telling the Sahaba, some of you will have long life, and you will see differences. You will see fitna among the ummah. He's already predicting, and that's what happened. Inshallah, we'll discuss that. And so for you to, in that matter, when you see fitna, when you see differences of opinion in the ummah, what you should do? You should stick to my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly participated, rightly guided successor, meaning rightly guided khalifa, and holding on to them with your molar teeth. Meaning you stick to them in such a strong way that as if you are biting with your molar teeth, and beware of newly introduced matters. So Rasulullah mentioned the bid'ah here again. Beware of newly introduced matters. For every bid'ah, like bid'ah innovation is an error or dalala, meaning it will take you to the Jahannam. So this is the hadith, and this hadith found in Abu Dawud and Tirmidhi, and this is an authentic hadith. Let's talk about the narrator a little bit. As I mentioned, this Sahaba, Abu Naji, we don't find a lot of description about him, but only thing found that he is one of the earliest Sahaba. So he was from Makkah, and he became Muslim in the early time of the Dawah, meaning when the Dawah was only 1 or 2 years. Islam was 41 or 42 years old. When only a few people were Muslim, he is one of them, and he became a Muslim. Another important thing about this Sahaba, radiyallahu anh, that he was one of those people who didn't have much money when he left Makkah, left everything, come to Medina. So in Battle of Tabuk, where everybody has to go, that battle was a fard ayn for all the Muslim, except for the old and if someone has any disability. So everybody has to go to that battle. And all the Sahaba tried to go because they thought, this is the fard ayn, this is the first time this war, this battle will be a fard ayn. But some of the Sahaba, they couldn't have any means to, or any camel or any means to go to the battle. And he was one of them. He didn't have any camel by himself or a horse or any means to share anything with others to take him. And Allah mentioned this in the Quran, not by the name, but Allah mentioned a group of people in Surah At-Tawbah, ayah number 92. Allah said, those who come to you, Ya Rasulullah, and they ask, Ya Rasulullah, did you manage any means for us, any mount for us that we can join you? The Rasulullah said, no, I couldn't manage anything, and their eyes became tearful, and they were very sad because they couldn't join, but Allah mentioned that they will get the same reward. Inshallah, Rasulullah also mentioned in the, when he was coming back from the Tabuk, that those people were sitting in Medina now, but they had the full intention to come to join us. Inshallah ta'ala, they will get all the reward that they are supposed to get. The time of this narration, in other books, in a different version, is, as I mentioned, that it was almost the end time of the Rasulullah, and also it is after the Fajr time. So it was the sunnah from Rasulullah that after the Fajr prayer, he always used to have a chat with his Sahaba. So that that the thing that we are doing, after the Fajr on Saturday, Sunday, this is also a part of Sunnah. That after the Sunnah prayer is Fajr prayer is finished, you talk something from the Deen, any advice, anything about the Quran, and something related to the Deen, and that was a Sunnah from Rasulullah. Even he used to ask Sahaba about their dreams. He used to turn around after the after the zikr he done after the Fajr. He asked, has anyone had a dream last night? And some people used to say, yes, Ya Rasulullah, I have this dream, and he used to interpret this dream for them. And other than that, this kind of advice he always used to give a little maweza after the Fajr prayer. This hadith has four main things, as you can see from the hadith. The first advice that Rasulullah gave, as a parting advice, that we must have taqwa of Allah. And as you all know that that is the main thing. That if you don't have taqwa, then you have no fear from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah said, mentioned in the Quran very early, in the Surah Al-Baqarah, that this book is hudal lil muttaqin. This is the guidance for people who wants to protect themselves from the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who have iman, who have taqwa. So that's the one thing we mentioned. And we mentioned in other talk that taqwa and iman is not the same. Taqwa means your consciousness. Everybody may have the iman at the same level. Everybody believe in the pillars of the Islam. Everybody believe in the pillars of the iman. But maybe not everybody has the same taqwa. The fairness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is watching you at every moment, whatever you are doing, whatever you are saying. So that is the taqwa, the importance of taqwa. Then to listen and obey the leaders. And yesterday when we did Surah Al-Nisa, one of the ayah, we mentioned this ayah that Allah commanded in Surah Al-Nisa, and ayah number 59, "O who you believed, obey Allah and obey the messenger." Atiullah wa atiur Rasul, and also the people who are in authority among you. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and if you disagree over anything, refer to Allah and His Messenger. As we mentioned yesterday that it is a duty that if an Amir has been selected, you should follow the Amir, as long as he doesn't lead you to do anything sinful. As long as he doesn't lead you to do anything sinful. Even Rasulullah, when he used to send some people to any journey, even if it's only people of two people he's sending to do some job, he used to select an Amir between them and say, okay, so you will follow what he says. And that is the sunnah of Rasulullah. Any job he used to do, he used to follow this one. And the other, the hadith explained that, when Rasulullah mentioned about the slave, some people say this is just to show you the impact. Like, it is so important, even a slave is, a ruler, you should follow them. Another, the hadith scholar, they said, it is that's true, but also this is also a prediction that time will come and a slave will be the ruler among us. And some scholars say later on that it has been done because the Mamluk dynasty, if you know the Islamic history, after the Hijri 500 years, there was after the attack on Baghdad. So the Muslim ruler, the Muslim Khilafat was in great dangers. And the new nation came, and they are from the Mamluk, and all the Mamluks people were basically their forefathers and everything were from the slave group. And so they ruled the Islamic world for a few years. So that's some scholars said probably that's a prediction from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And also it says that Muslim disunity split. So this is as another one that was already predicted. He said, follow my sunnah and sunnah of the Khulafa Rashidin when you will see differences. And he's telling the Sahaba that you will see these differences. And as we all know, the differences started during the time of Usman radiallahu anh, how he has been killed by the extremist group of that time, and also the time of Ali, and after in the later time of the Ali, there are battles between the Muslims, and a lot of people has been killed in those, so a lot of fitna has been happened, and the battle of the Muawiyah and Ali radiallahu anh, and Rasulullah predicted all these things here. And what we have to do, we have to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah and sunnah of the Khulafa Rashidin. Now the sunnah meanings, as we all know what is sunnah meanings, there are few meanings of sunnah. I'll go through very simply. The first meaning of sunnah, in a literal meaning, is a way, a path. And the next meaning is that the meaning from the fiqh, in the fiqh way, if you look at from the fiqh point of view, the sunnah means the sunnah that we do, like the 2 rakah sunnah before the first prayer. So something in the ibadah that you do which is recommended, and you do, you get rewards. If you don't do, you are not sinful, but if you do, you will get reward according to your intention. So that is from the fiqh view. From the hadith view, the sunnah is, as you all know, all the comments from Rasulullah, his actions, his tacit approval. So someone did something in front of Rasulullah and he was silent. That is also a sunnah. Also, all the stories, the stories of the battle that he described, the stories of the past Rasulullah described. All this comes under the hadith topic of sunnah. Even the sunnah also used, as I said, the path. It is also used in the aqidah. And there's a book called As-Sunnah by Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. It's a great book, and it is completely on Aqidah. It's nothing to do with Sunnah, nothing to do with Sunnah prayer, nothing to do with Sunnah fasting or anything. The book is called As-Sunnah because that's the path of Aqidah, how we believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Sunnah has different meaning. And the Khulafa Rashidun Sunnah, by saying this one, Rasulullah said, there will be something new will come by my Khulafa. Otherwise, he would have said, my sunnah is complete. Like Quran is complete, so my sunnah is complete, all of follow my sunnah. But he didn't say that. He said, my sunnah and the rightly guided khulafa. Now, who are the rightly guided khulafa, as you all know? And the scholars said, majority of the scholars said the 4, Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, and Ali radiallahu anh. But some of the scholars said because in another hadith, Rasulullah predicted that the rightly guided khilafa will be for 30 years. When I passed away, 30 years will be the rightly guided khulafa. And if you added the time of Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, and Ali, it becomes 9 years and 6 months. And the next 6 months was the khulafa by Hassan, the grandson of Rasulullah. So because of that, some scholars say he is also one of the rightly guided khalifa. He was a khulafa for 6 months, but then he has a dispute with Muawiyah, and he himself take down the status. He said, no, I don't want the khulafa. The Islamic world should have only one khilafa. He tried to do the conciliation. So their sunnah also, we have to follow their sunnah if they did something. Like one of the sunnah that we do, the Tarawih prayer, Rasulullah did it in his own way. But then Umar, as you all know, that he gathered the people, he selected an Imam, and the 20 rakah has been done in the Masjid of Rasulullah. So that is a sunnah we can say from the Khulafa Rashidin. Can anybody tell any other sunnah from Khulafa Rashidin? Not from Rasulullah.
Introduced Adhan before in the Jummah.
Yes, anything else? And the very common one. Nothing to do with ibadah, but this is also like something new that didn't happen in the time of Rasulullah. The Hijri calendar. Hijri calendar, yes. So this is done by Umar. There's no calendar, Hijri calendar. Nobody used to count, but they decided the day Rasulullah migrated from Makkah, that year is the first year of Hijri. So that is one other one. And the last thing about this hadith is beware of bidah. We talked about bidah in the hadith number 5, the hadith from Aisha radhiyallahu anha. That what is bidah? Is something adding something in the deen that doesn't have any evidence. And we said in that there's a maxim in the fiqh of Islam that anything in the ibadah is haram. Anything in the ibadah is not allowed if you don't have any proof. But anything in the worldly life is allowed if you don't have any proof, unless you don't have any proof. Meaning, I'm wearing a watch, I'm wearing a red shirt or something like this. If nobody can say this is haram unless they have evidence, wearing the watch in the right hand or the left hand is haram or something like this. And in ibadah it's the other way around. Nobody can start new thing. Okay, after the Fajr prayer, there's an extra 2 rakat prayer, and someone say, okay, this is something new. No, you have to have evidence to have the ibadah, because ibadah is completed by Rasulullah sallallahu according to his sunnah. So that is the bidah in short term. So these are the 4 things Rasulullah mentioned in this hadith, and as I mentioned before, this hadith is a parting advice from Rasulullah sallallahu, and it has the major implication in the time of the Sahaba, because they felt like this is something that we have to follow, and the fitna is coming to our world, and that is also happening to us. Inshallah, Rasulullah predicted a lot of other hadith that the more dangerous time is coming up in the front, where will be too difficult even to keep our iman. So inshallah ta'ala we'll finish it here. As I mentioned, there's a little breakfast, so just stay here, brother. We'll just have to arrange, because the kitchen is a bit close, so we're gonna get the arrangement where you're gonna